I guess this is one of the first times we've done this. I mean, I guess you're kind of a Something Cool news reporter now, out there in the field giving us this breaking news story.
Yes, I guess.
It's an unusual spot for you, I guess, but let's get down to it. I mean, I know I heard through my sources that there was a pretty big fire in Abbotsford this morning, about 9 o'clock a.m., and I guess you were close by. Tell me what you saw.
I don't think it was as big a fire as it was a response. I mean, I don't know how much damage there was to the building. They knocked out all the windows, and there was about, I don't know, there was over probably 100 firemen there on the scene. There was 11 fire trucks, a BC Hydro truck, a Terrace gas truck, and 5 police cars that I've seen. There was some emergency vehicles, and you know, thank heavens we don't have the helicopters swooping overhead anymore. You know, but so the response was pretty big, and I think the potential for disaster was there. And I don't think that I mean, they probably did $100,000 in damage. Who knows? Maybe a couple $100,000.
Right.
I haven't been inside the building to see how much damage was done.
Right. Now, I know that it was in the old Salvation Army building, which of course is basically now an old abandoned mall. In fact, I was there on Wednesday last week, and I could see it was all boarded up, and that people aren't allowed to go in there, and these no trespassing signs. So, what was the cause of this fire?
It was in my opinion, it was the drug-addicted homeless people living in buildings. And I think that, like, people need to understand that when they put these people out on the street and they give them absolutely nothing to cope with the struggle of life with, that when they do find a building like this that is abandoned, they will not only move in, but they will set up a candle, a kerosene heater, and you know, other situations that are you wouldn't normally do in a house, and they only do them because they're better than what they got, and the consequences of the building burning down to them aren't as severe as them standing out in the rain and getting cold.
No, that's true enough.
So
you're surmising that it was some homeless people. I know when I was there on Wednesday, I saw some homeless people sitting outside, and I think you mentioned to me that you've seen evidence that there have been homeless people kind of living behind the place and probably inside.
Yeah, it's a fact that they live there, and you know, they're even drug addicted and all of that. But I think the thing is that they're not allowed to stay in the park. They're not allowed to camp anywhere along the, you know, the railroads or anything like that.
Right.
And everybody's got to be somewhere, you know. And like, you know, I think that people got to understand that we need public bathrooms downtown because everybody has to go to the bathroom. And that you walk down the street and you see all these signs that say, we have no public bathrooms. What they're really saying is, no homeless poor people allowed, no undesirable.
Right. Basically kind of shuffle them away, and then they end up going into the forest, or in this case, into this abandoned building, and then they're trying to keep warm or trying to see, so they start some sort of light, which leads to a fire, which leads to damage, and 11 fire trucks showing up in Abbotsford. Given all the things we've talked about lately with police response on the website, it is kind of heartening to know that there is going to be a quick, speedy response to something like this. It's just ironic that it was because a homeless person had started a fire. If they had responded quicker to some of the larger issues in town, that might have been a different story altogether. I understand that you actually had a conversation with a police officer while you were on the scene taking some pictures for us.
Yeah, what happened was I was out walking my dog in the morning, and I had heard all the fire trucks this morning, and there was an unusual amount of fire trucks heading down there. I mean, it was just on and on and on, and one truck after another, more than usual for any fire. And I think the thing that is people need to get out of what happened today is two things. One, that you're not allowed to take pictures of police and firefighters and public officials anymore without permission, apparently. Officer 397 stopped me and questioned why I was taking pictures and, wanted to know who I was and everything. Even though he knew me, he come up and played dumb, and, I basically told him it's on a need-to-know basis, and he didn't need to know. And the second thing people need to get out of this is that this whole week has been one of drug prohibition violence coming home to roost. Our kids coming home to roost.
Yes, it's been a busy week for Abbotsford. I know I read some of the papers, and there's been a lot of things going on related to the exact areas that, of course, you are rallying against, being this area of drug prohibition, and of course these issues of the spiraling drug problem and homelessness. It's all right there. But I'm curious more right now about the fact that the police told you weren't allowed to take any pictures at the scene. I mean, I guess you were allowed, but he came over and gave you a rough time about it. I'm kind of surprised to hear that, because I kind of thought that, being in a public place and, having little to no expectation of privacy out there, that they would have a problem with you taking their picture, when apparently, according to our information, they don't have any trouble taking pictures of other people when they in their similar circumstances.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. They've been taking pictures of people who would come and support 1999, and they've intimidated a lot of people by taking their pictures and arresting them and harassing them because they were associated with me. And I can give you dates and names of things they've done and people they've arrested. But
when you take their picture, then it becomes that's a whole different story, and then you're not allowed to do it. There's this big issue. It seems like a double standard there almost.
It's not. It's what people better get used to. I think people need to wake up that they're losing their rights and their ability to control the police. And I think that this is a difference between me and every other candidate that's running for mayor across North America, is that, I'm going to take away the tools of the police, and I'm going to end all this crime and violence and stupidity. And as a matter of fact, I've been so inspired by what's happened this week that I'm going to change my signs from drug prohibition maximizes harm to the community, the individual, and to society, to is City Council or Abbotsford City Council really that stupid? Drug prohibition maximizes harm to, blah, blah, blah. Right. And the thing is that, I don't think you can look at what's happening and not say, hey, there's drugs involved, there's problems with policing the situation, there might be easier solutions. And the drastic cost and the drastic liability that we face from drug prohibition, the amount of people dying, it's just, people have got to wake up that this whole thing is about intolerance, hate, and we need to have a better system, because we're becoming Nazis.
Something's clearly not going on right there. What is the condition of the building right now? I mean, the fire was put out and it's been gutted and there's police tape along it?
Say that again. Is that what?
The condition of the building that was on fire today. I guess it's been sealed off and with police tape and such.
Probably, but I don't think it had more than a couple $100,000 in damage.
Right.
I think that who's ever owning that building's got some other insurance claims or something going on that they're not concerned with the destruction, because they definitely had homeless people living in there for the last couple of years.
Was there any indication anyone got hurt?
No. But I don't know. There was emergency vehicles there, and there was all sorts of. Apparently, apparently the fire department and police thought it was a big idea, because it was a huge response.
To a building where hopefully no one was injured. That's the best hope. But I guess, and the building wasn't an abandoned building. It wasn't like it was an actual house or a existing business. It was just abandoned. So that's a good, at least.
I think there's easier ways to deal with these homeless people than to force them into this kind of behavior.
Well, in this situation, I think maybe the biggest casualty of all, perhaps, and I'm saying this without knowing if anyone was actually hurt, I hope not, but it seems like certainly a casualty for sure is the fact that the homeless people that live in Abbotsford now have one less place they can go.